Coming here my sophomore year, I remember listening to each kid speak and thinking to myself how well they had themselves figured out. With each speech, I'd envy how all of them seemed to have their life together and wished I could have said the same. Sophomore year was definitely a weird one, with a lot of questions, and not a lot of answers for what seemed like forever. I couldn't have imagined how quickly time would pass from then until today, with me, a senior now, talking in front of all of you. As junior year rolled around, I realized there was a fundamental flaw with most of the speeches I was hearing. None of us really have life figured out. We're 17, 18, 19 years old, and expected to live to an average of 80. Think of all our collective experiences, all the things we've learned, the laughs we've shared, the endless summers we've had. And now think for a second about the fact that all of that should amount to less than 1/4 of the memories that we'll make over the course of our lifetime. As much as I think I understand myself and know myself and the world around me, I know there's so much left to see, to absorb, to discover. Beauty surrounds us every day, no matter where we go. Look around us at this chapel, at this campus. The trees swaying in the wind, the grass shining bright with dew, the perfect blue sky, the sundial lighting up from behind the pearly white clouds. Sometimes, when I feel like I need some perspective, I go down to the woods by the little creek. A creek that ran for thousands of years before I came to Pomfret, and will continue to do so once I walk up back to the soccer fields and head to the dining hall for dinner and another night of calc problems. When I leave for good this spring, that little brook will remain nestled in the woods, unchanged, like I was never there. But someday, another kid, maybe just like me, maybe not, will go down that winding path through the tall trees and stop at that bridge and just look around. Like me, they'll cheer up if they're down or lost or confused. And at some point, they'll just feel clear. It will slowly dawn on them, the way it dawned on me, how life shows us her incomparable beauty whenever we open our eyes to look. We see it in the smile from that shy kid in our math class on the way to dinner. We hear it on the field, the rush of the wind in our ears as we fly through the air for a loose ball frozen in time. We smell it when we step outside and breathe the fresh spring air and turn around and watch our friends laughing in our wake. We feel it in the hug from our friend after telling them how much we love them and hearing them say it back. And we'll feel it again when we walk up towards the altar, towards our significant other, when we see our children walk for the first time, when we're old and weathered and worn down, and we see our grandkids win a third-grade spelling bee and smile like they couldn't ask for anything more. We'll feel it again and again and again. At the end of the day, we're a speck of dust, flying through space, our societies, planet, galaxy, and eventually our universe, destined to die off without leaving a trace. No amount of money or possessions or art or power or achievements will ever come close to ever changing that. The moments that bring us true joy is what gives our lives meaning. When it comes to my story, however, the message that I really want to leave with you guys is that this is not the final version of myself. Some of my most formative years are ahead of me, and frankly, I can't wait. This has just been a mere chapter, but it's been a great one, and that's thanks to all of you. I'll never forget walking to class and yelling inside jokes to friends across the quad. Not. I'll never forget cheering after a win on the bus rides home from games, or staying up late in the bricks to hang out with the boys, and going to the library smiling after a great conversation with someone in the dining hall. And of course, I couldn't possibly forget the studio sessions, not even the H-Kiss Fofo freestyles. Anyway, for all of you sitting in front of me today, each and every one of you, you guys too, it might scare you that it's all going to end. After all, we're all going down different paths when we depart this May. But those paths are ours. And on my end, at least, no matter what, I'll always love each and every one of you, simply because we all laughed and cried and bled and smiled on this hilltop. We all stayed up late for finals and tried a new sport. We all had to figure out how to work Miss Lehman's ancient pinhole cameras. We have all looked out past the turf fields at a beautiful Pomfret sunset and stopped to take a picture or just to look. This place and our love will connect us more than anything else could drive us apart. But if we're being honest, I'm not worried much about the future anymore. Life is too, worth it for me to lose sleep over what's in store for me. It saddens me to know I'm leaving soon, but I cheer up at the thought of more wonderful sights and experiences waiting for me to take in and relish. I've grown so much here, and I've learned just how rewarding growth can be. I look forward to growing further and changing and loving. I look forward to learning and laughing and simply being and taking nothing for granted. After all, none of us really know what's after this. So, when my time does come, I'll be okay because I loved every second I was here. And you should too. Thank you.